Hello everybody, this is Frogman and welcome back to Manufactio. Today's going to be episode number 30. Yes sir, we're getting up there finally in the episodes. Um, Last episode we did a little bit of research as far as getting some of the logistical systems unlocked, and I have been busy building certain systems, and we'll go take a look at that in a minute. I did kind of want to come over here into the noise of the generation area because of the fact that with the addition of several of the applied energistic systems that I have put up, I had to build whatever 16 more generators because we're now averaging a pretty decent amount of power coming out into each one of those systems. So let's look at my little thing here. We're only doing 24,000 right now. Now the system is running, the factory's on making a few things right now, so we're a little over what I would normally think, but yeah, we've got I've got plenty of generators now, I think, running. I do need to go ahead and make another one of these over here, but we'll worry about that for later. But yeah, I did go ahead and get some of the flux ducts in place, and I need to go ahead and move this. And I did this mainly because of the fact that these guys right here, this whole line will make about 16,000 RF a tick, roughly speaking, and those signal plated flex ducts are good for 16,000, so that allows me to knock down on some of the HV connectors that I have over here. I did that on the other side, although I don't believe we use Signum. I haven't changed them out yet. I was just trying to get rid of some of these HV connectors because I had one on top of every one of these capacitors, and they're pretty CPU intensive as far as TPS is concerned, so that's helped save at least a little bit of stuff. So excuse me, we're kind of just going ahead and doing a few things. I did finally get this one drained out and moved over, so now we're just putting dark oaks in this one, and we can kind of start to wander into the main portion of the base. Things are a little framey right now because we're doing a few things other than what I should be doing, but hey, it is the way that it is. So let's take a look at a few things. So let's start in the workshop. Now, the workshop is not the most beautiful system just yet. It is mainly going to be what I'm going to call the main system. So this is where the main controller is going to be. I do have the storage buses on the system so we can see all of the wonderful things that we have right now. Unfortunately, we do not have crafting terminals at this point, but we will get them eventually. So before we go out and look at the rest of the explanation of here, I did have to unlock Logistics 4, which is logistics pipes, and I went ahead and unlocked the digital upgrades section here because I needed the ability to be able to make cards. So the cards, let me see, card. These cards right here, these get unlocked with that research because I needed some of the redstone cards as well as some of the capacity cards. Crafting cards we can't do anything with yet right now, and I did have to make a couple of acceleration cards for the system, but for the most part everything is bare bones, bare stock. So in here again, this is going to be the main AE system. This is where we're going to use this is just going to be the one that does all the controlling and the access for all the rest of it. I am going to probably tear down the workshop maybe and restructure it so that I can kind of centrally use a lot of this in here, or at least make it look very pretty. But it's an interesting process, at least how I'm going to do this, because of the amount of channels that have to happen all over the base. I am not going to be running dense cables to every single section of the base. I'm going to just be running regular old glass cables, and the only reason why there's a dense one right there is to tell me how many channels that are currently going that direction. And the reason why there's a dense here is because I needed to be able to get all these guys hooked up plus what the next section is. But for the most part, this controller here is going to see somewhere around, let me see, we've got 6 and 11, so that's what, 17, and I need to put one back there, but there's not a whole lot back. There's probably another 6 back there that direction that controller is seeing as far as systems. And I have subnetted and played around and had a good time in this building. This building has been a lot of fun. So I went ahead and did a bunch of colored cables, and all of the colored cables represent a line of machines. So I guess let's go over to this side over here and we can talk about this a little bit. I did go ahead and put in a bunch of the energy cells because the system's using quite a bit of power. Let's see, where is my network tool? And I had to craft a network tool because of the fact that's the only way you can really see what's going on. But just this controller alone is using about, 1300 RF a tick. just that controller, which means that's all of this side and all of this side. The main controller in the main base over here, that's not what I wanted to do. Open the door, please. The main controller in here is using right around 700, so that's why we have to make a bunch of generators. There's at least 2 or 3 of those generators running all the time now because of this. But anyhow, what I have done is I'm using subnetting as far as getting the channels where I need to go. The channels are like, just this controller right here is managing 24 on this side and 22 on this side. So that's more than, 2 cables. Well, that's more than a cable's worth coming over from that thing. So what I'm doing is I'm building smaller applied Energistics networks like these 2 right here, and then I'm interfacing them to the main system over there using interfaces and storage buses in a inverted condition on both sides of it. This is just because it ended up being fairly close to the ceiling, so I stuck one on one side and one on the other. What this allows this system to do, and I've explained this in my original conversion video, that what this does is I am allowing myself to be able to see what's going on in this network from that network over there, and what's going on from that network in this network over here by basically doing this. We have an interface and a storage bus. The storage bus is representing the storage that is this system here. That interface here is that system being able to see into this system. Now, on the opposite side, we're doing the exact same thing. Well, we're doing the opposites. Come on, dummy. Same thing except in reverse. So I have an interface here on this side, which is allowing this network to see the storage, meaning that storage bus that is the rest of that network. And because I do this on every single one of these systems, that means all of these networks, every single one that I have set up, can see the storage that is in here, and can see the storage in the main system, and see the storage in all the rest of them, and vice versa. So that's how you do this. And if you want to, you can, let me get that out of my inventory. If you want to, you can specify in your storage buses what you want to, what this network, say like this one over here, can see. So I can put all of the manufactured machine parts in this system over here in that storage bus, and that will allow me to see this. Or we can do that over here on the actual storage buses in the systems as far as things go. The interface here, if I'm exporting something in particular, specifically like something I know I need a lot of coming over here, I can tell that interface right here that if I say I want it to keep advanced magazine, I might even have a few of these in there. If I put that in there, if there's any of that in the system at all, it's going to keep that amount in that system and make it readily available at all times. So that's how we can manage to make a lot of channels kind of just exist in one area but not go across long distances. That means all of my backhaul, what I'm going to call a backhaul run from the main AE system out to all the smaller satellite systems, is going to be just regular glass cable, because that's more than enough channels to get where I need to go. There's only 6 in this building. So, 6 controlling this building. So the rest of the system is pretty simple. You just use an export bus to export whatever it is you want into the inventory that you need, just like if I was using pipes. And I'm using storage buses on the output of the machines to just literally say, I want you to only be able to extract at this point, and if I really want to, I could actually partition that to say that this is the only thing that is allowed to pull out. It's not a big problem when you're extracting this, but I wanted a storage bus here instead of an input bus, because I want that to be the storage. I don't want the main AE system to be the storage, and I don't want some random chest somewhere to be a random storage. So all of these lines are like that. All of them are the same. We have, like I said, the main system runs across. It is a mess. I'm going to have to do a little bit of work in. Again, this system over here, 30 to 32 channels, so this is a pretty busy one. This one, not so much. I think it's only 20. We come over to this one. This guy, he's running about 26 channels, and this one's 11. This one is the one where if I need to build some more stuff, I can build some more stuff, and I actually need, are you done? Yes, you're done. Good deal. Get this guy out of the road so that we don't need to worry about it, and grab you. Thank you. All right, cool. Now, as far as the rest of the mess is concerned, if you notice, there are a bunch of different machines, and there's things that have been moved around, and that is because we need to be able to craft a couple of things. Right here was where I was crafting pipes, the immersive engineering pipes, and the belts. And I got to looking at that going, well, that's two processes that I can probably get rid of as far as the way it goes, because the crafting for those two things is a regular crafting recipe, meaning I can craft them right here, or I can craft them in a regular 3x3 system. As also, there was a crafter right here that was making blast bricks. So what I did is I decided I'm going to go ahead and set down an immersive engineering assembler here, and he is going to craft the blast bricks, he's going to craft the plastic pipes, and he is going to craft, or plastic pipes, fluid pipes, and he is going to craft the conveyor belt. So that's 3 crafts all in one machine. So that means I get rid of the problem that is all of those machines and all of their TPS usage and all that blah blah blah, plus their power usage, because this thing is going to craft all of this right here for like 400 RF a tick, which is not terrible considering that those other ones, if we do pipe, I don't even know what pipe costs me to make. As far as power, it's probably not as cheap. Let me see, where are we? Basic assembler. No, I need this one. There you go. This is 70 RF a tick. The belts, come on. Belts are, we were making them in a basic assembler, so this is 210 RF a tick, and the that should be 210. So like that's 480, 490. So we're right about the same, same energy process here. If we look at that dude, where is he? He's up here underneath automation 4. It's 490 RF a tick, but no pollution. So getting rid of those is going to make sure I don't make as much pollution. It uses a little bit more power for those 3 processes, but it's all in one thing, and they're all 3-second crafts. So pretty simple, pretty easy. The inserters are still being made one of those because that recipe is cheaper. This guy right here is crafting, man, excuse me, I got the burps today. This one is crafting the signal and flux ducts, he's crafting redstone energy flux ducts, and he is crafting hardened energy flux ducts, which for some reason we seem to be out of those. I don't know why. You have your stuff. Are we out of batteries? We're out of batteries. Did I not put any batteries in there? How come I'm out of batteries? Oh, you're out of batteries because you're off. There we go. Make some more batteries. Whatever. I've got a lot of the machines off right now because it's just kind of trying to help on a few things. But again, this one right here is making the ducts for that thing. Now, if you hear behind me over here, we have a cut. Well, the same old dude is doing some stuff over here. I have a advanced rocketry lathe put up in place, or lathe rolling machine that is making silicon wafers, because we need silicon wafers for a lot of stuff. And since there was sulfuric acid right here, I put him right here. That's why it is right where it is. So let's go around this block over here. Nothing has changed on this side. A whole lot has changed over here. This is where I had all of the ducts, and this is where I had all the servos and the filters. There are now, what, 4 assemblers sitting down here. So again, I went ahead and I used these guys to help craft a lot of the parts that I need as far as later on down the line things. So I'm crafting machine structures for the advanced rocketry stuff in here, as well as the input and the output hatches, because in this one we need those to make storage buses as well as export buses. And in here I'm also crafting ME interfaces. So those are all crafting table recipes. It's the only way you can get them. In here, this is another little system here where I was making pistons over there in the corner in a single assembly machine. This guy is making me the wood, the chests, and a few other things. So the chest is going into this here so that I can make the input and the output parts of those. This one right here is making, for me, lots and lots and lots of Fluix cable, and I'm making it clear up to the covered cable so that I can take this and then handcraft it into the small amount of the dense stuff that I need. So, and I'm then going ahead and just using a little bit of redstone glowstone to make that dense cable into things and stuff. So, on this row, this is of course going to be the crusher that we need in order to be able to make the Fluix dust and the nether quartz dust for the various processes coming down here. I automated the charger, and the charger this is when we start getting into some of the fun stuff. Both of these guys are actually kind of fun stuff here because of how this system works. I need to fix this because there's some silliness going on with the level emitters and the fact that this block, the export buses, can see a redstone signal that is dropped down right here, because I believe this block is actually acting like a redstone transmitter and is pushing redstone into these export buses. So this is something I have to fix. So I've got a lot of this stuff right now. I'm not really worried about it. I'll fix it. But anyhow, as far as the other things go, I am storing in this chest for this matter Certus quartz or charged Certus quartz. And what we're doing is we're using the system as, you know, pretty much its own way to limit how much stuff it keeps. So in here, I'm telling it I want it to understand that there's charged Certus quartz crystals in this chest. There are. Okay, so when that number over here, charged Certus quartz crystals, runs under 64, what it's going to do is it's going to turn that level emitter on, which is going to turn this export bus on, which is going to put crystals, Certus quartz crystals, Certus quartz crystals into this charger, which will then be charged until we reach that limit, and then it will shut it off. Yes, it'll probably run it over 1 or 2, probably 1, but that's fine. The same thing is going on over here with Certus quartz and Fluix quartz, so, or Fluix, whatever it is. Certus, we can just look at this recipe real quick, which we saw from the last one. Certus is nether quartz and sand. So, and that gets us 3 of them. What I'm doing again is I'm measuring off the back of these bins if I can get around the corners. You know, some days this armor's awesome. Again, 2 storage buses on the back of here, so these guys are just doing the work that is trying to detect what's going on in the rest of the system, and I have them set, I believe, for not a whole lot. So like I think this level emitter is just for 2 stacks of the Certus quartz, which is then on this point, I am bringing the materials that I need to make both of those things over here into an ME interface, and I'm keeping a certain amount of stock in the interface. I am then doing a regular reinforced servo that is set to, let's get this open, enabled high. So it will only pull out the stuff that I tell it to pull out when this level emitter says that we don't have enough stuff. And currently I'm way overstocked on this because I made a whole bunch prior to doing things. So that'll pull that out. It'll put it into this interface, and right now it's being stupid because we've had to make a few things. Let me have one of those, please. 1. Go away. We'll just get you out of there. But it's going to overrun. The thing is it won't be so much of an impact problem because this system here requires nether quartz, and the Fluix as well requires nether quartz. So the only thing that I have to worry about at that point is getting the correct stuff in here. So I'm not worried about having an issue. There are 4 holes in this hatch, and those things are only allowed to put in 2 at a time. So it will go fairly slowly. I could actually probably set that to 1. A lot of the processes in this system are set up like that. The Fluix quartz is back here, down there. So this guy is going to be making, what is this one? He is making the annihilation cores. So in this case here, it's going to be kind of hard to see if I can get in that spot. In this case here, in the center input hatch, I'm keeping 2 logic processors and 2 Fluix dust in this, whatever this thing is, precision assembler. And then as I need more annihilation cores here, I'm adding more of the nether quartz into this interface here, or that input. If I come over to this side over here, we're doing the exact same thing kind of for formation cores, where it is then going to pull a Certus quartz out and put it into that interface, which will then process things. So if I grab that, actually it's over a little bit, let's grab that. Light should turn on, it's going to extract, we're going to make some cores. So it's automated, it's going to keep a certain amount of stock on hand all the time. Not a whole lot of stock, just a little bit of stock. And then once it uses up whatever it managed to get into that interface, which is going to be 1 more, then it's done. So that's how we automated this process. Circuit processors. I'm only making logic processors at this point because I only really need logic processors. So the exact same system is going on over here. It's knowing when I have so many processors, and the processes are being stored over here. I went ahead and just threw all the leftovers that I was getting from the mob farm, and the mob farm is actually kind of sort of pseudo hooked up to this system. So this is the storage for these. So whatever I get out of the mob farm coming out over there is immediately going to be put in this chest once it gets input into it. So this one is the one that is making electrum, I believe, and this one is still making the steel mechanical components because we need them for the heavy engineering blocks that are going into all of those advanced rocketry blocks. So On this side, we are crafting glass in this electric furnace, and I am crafting the quartz glass in this electric furnace, and I am crafting silicon very, 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 very slowly in this blast furnace. That's a really slow process, so it's really kind of terrible, but whatever. Let's go upstairs so we can see the rest of the mess. This is gone. I don't need this anymore. This whole wall of bins, they're all gone. They're over there in the storage building where they belong. Nothing has changed up here. I'm going to leave these pipes in place for the time being, mainly because this is one of the quieter thermodynamics pipe system that we have. The only thing I'm doing is I'm using the same old process with an ME interface here with a thermal duct so that I can limit the output inside this automated workbench. Other than that, this whole system is back functional again. I've actually managed to gotten to the point here where there was something right here that I was making. I don't remember what it was. There were the tin plates. Because I don't need item ducts anymore, I have like 1,000 of those things sitting around. I don't need to be making tin plates anymore, so we're done there. The interaction, and we'll look at these in a little bit, the interaction here is very simple. What we're doing is we're just using an export bus with whatever it is that I want it to make a plate out of. The export bus instantly drops one of those things on the press just as soon as it possibly can, and which means once it gets right on through, we're making one right now. Those are lead plates, which we need because of the other things. And yeah, we're still a little ticky. We're getting better. But if you look, it's right about there is when it can put it on, and that's when it puts it on. These are as fast or faster than a hopper as far as putting things on these plate presses. So that's the easy way of automating those things. Storage buses are on all of the bottoms of those bins over there that are hooked into the magenta line over there. So where are we? Let's go to the next big, oh my God, which is going to be over here. It's probably going to be a little loud. Let's get this knocked down a little bit. It's nice and clean in here now. There's no pipes. Aside from a little bit of cabling, there's no pipes left. Same old deal. We're using multiple different subnets in this system, or in this building, I should say. The light blue is on the bottom of the silos upstairs. What did I just pick up? Something? I don't know. We have white in this building that is running the plates. So again, these are pretty simple. I'm just putting stuff on here and I'm redstone controlling the bottom, so we'll see that in a second. Of course, we kind of changed up a little bit in here because I am making so many plates over here. There was no reason for me to be doing what I was doing anymore as far as the gear presses. So all I did was I'm just now outputting iron plates into these single spot chests, and I'm turning on these, as you can see, they've got a little redstone thing. I'm turning on these extractor conveyor belts, so when we need more gears, which we have a lot of backlog, this will turn on. So let's go downstairs. All right, down here is where we're going to do a couple of things. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start building what is, pretty much going to be effectively a deep storage for large amounts of items. And I actually need to go ahead and swap that dude out eventually, but we'll worry about it. This is what I'm going to be doing, and this is going to be one of the bigger systems because I'm probably going to have to put more controllers down here because we're going to start deep storing a lot of stuff. But just to prove the fact that the system is capable and being able to be seen from the rest of the area, if I look at this terminal, I see all of the things, and I see all of the things that are over in that other deal. So like those processors we looked at, I can see them over here. I can take them out, and I can put them back, and they'll go right back into where they were supposed to be because I've programmed priorities into some of this stuff, as well as the specific what I want in this deal. So as we can see here, there is a level limiter again that is checking for a specific amount of an item, and it is turning on and off those plate presses as I need them, or the presses as I need them. This dude is one of the ones that's pretty heavy. He's using almost 1800 RF a tick, almost. So let's see, go upstairs. There is a single system over here that is controlling the plate presses for copper plates. I did it again. I don't need copper plates. And the copper wires, and they're currently running because we're currently making circuits. And again, it is interfaced with the system. A whole lot, lots and lots and lots and lots of export buses went into this mess. I mean, we can actually watch it work right here. Yeah, we're waiting on a limit. There's a lot, excuse me, there is a lot of export buses plus again a storage bus that is allowing me to monitor various things. And on the bottoms of these, especially this system, this is something we need to discuss here very quickly, is those of you that are probably going to be using storage buses on silos, you need to understand something. Applied Energistics or any of the other systems only sees a stack of items or the stack of items that resides in that block. That's why I have an advanced bin out here. So I have a storage bus that is set to input output on the back on that silo. And then I have a, storage bus set to extract only right here. Yeah, extract only on this bin so that the system can see 2048 plus 64. So it's like 2112 or something weird like that. But that allows me to be able to use a large amount of stuff even though I have a large amount of storage. When we unlock the last bins from Mechanism, all of these are going away. Every single silo in this base is going away because they're ridiculous when it comes to the frames that they use. The system has to render every single one of these blocks, and it's pretty ugly. So it's one of those I'm going to be getting rid of them. Plus, there's no reason to have them at that point. But that's just so that you know when you're trying to figure out why you stick a storage bus on the bottom or the sides, or they won't even work on the top. They'll work on the bottom, any one of the bottom blocks. You can't see anything but 64, and that's why. So let's get out of here. That should be this building. Now I kind of cheesed it since I only needed like 8 channels. Over here is 7. I just ran some export buses into this network over to here, and it looks like I may need to add a speed upgrade into that one just to make it a little bit faster. I'm contemplating actually just getting rid of these bins right here and using an interface over here. But for right now, again, I'm not really worried about it. We're a little low, and it wouldn't hurt me to dump that thing because I think probably eventually we need to go ahead and get rid of these silos as well. But again, just storage buses on a few things where we need to have storage buses. A lot of this pipe is still in here because I don't know if I want to change this. I really don't know. I kind of like this factory just the way that it works. So anyhow, let us go out into here. There is a little teeny tiny system right here that is managing these guys just so that I can read those bins. And these guys in here, how have they been doing? Yeah, we're good. And you are good. Good deal. And you haven't used anything. Nice. Okay, and to the final one, and please never mind that wire. This is the one that I need to kind of have a discussion on. Hello, guys. Walked in just in time for a zombie horde. Cool. Okay, we did go ahead and set up the applied energistic system in here, so I have a whole bunch of storage buses and a whole bunch of stuff and dense cable down the bottom over there. There is an import bus on the absorption hopper with as many speed upgrades as I can get in it, and it is inhaling things fairly quickly. It's doing a pretty decent job. I need to change that one again. We'll deal with that in a minute. How many, whatever. Anyhow, the idea here is we're using this again as a miscellaneous storage just for fun. How much rotten flesh do we have? Nah, lots. I'm going to have to clean that out. I do that on purpose so I know when I need to change these things. However, what I am also doing in here, and it's actually outside, is I have a storage bus on the conveyor that is still underneath this path that is going to an interface that is right there in front of the main workshop area. And I'm using the storage bus to export any of this material right here as soon as it possibly can. So as soon as I get any of this stuff, it immediately puts it on that belt. And that belt then runs down there and delivers that to an interface that is then put into the rest of the system wherever it belongs. On this side, because I only have 4 things that I need to get rid of, so anytime I get lapis, coal, redstone, or hardened stone, it goes onto this conveyor belt, which runs over to the outpost and then is taken care of. It's stored in that system. So that, in a nutshell, is how much work I've managed to accomplish over the last 3 or 4 days of building this mess. It's getting better. The reason why we're laggy again right now is because of these guys doing their work. They're busy. They're working. I am crafting the advanced solar panels for the challenge for that system. But I think the only thing that I'm going to be concerned about for right now is just that you guys kind of get the idea of how this system works, how this idea works. Because if you start counting the channels, yeah, I could throw a big, massive, controller up here and then run dense cable everywhere I wanted to run dense cable. Or I can run up to 8 different, or yeah, no, excuse me, four, 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 four different systems, 4 different other controllers using this setup, which means I have the access to the entirety of all of the channels on the end of this system. So that means I don't have to run dense cables everywhere. We don't have P2P in this pack. He took them out. That's fine. That's your alternative right there. So I guess with that, I think we've looked at quite a bit. I am going to continue to play around with this mess and change a few things up. I've got a plan and an idea for making the rails and the outposts a little better, because I think I can get that down to 1 minecart. 1. So I can get rid of all of those stations, all of those all these signals, and all of those hoppers, which will severely reduce or greatly reduce the amount of problem that I'm having with those things. So I think we might be looking at that in the next episode, but I do appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.